What's up, guys? This is Kazi here from cleverprogrammer.com. Today we're doing something very, very fascinating. First of all, we're going to be talking about the top 5 worst programming languages in 2020. So that's going to be really exciting. We're going to be talking about all kinds of crazy programming languages, from Brainfuck to Whitespace to lolcode to Trumpscript to whatever else. And we're doing something really fascinating, which is that we are in a podcast studio and we have a team of 4 people today. Before we jump right into it, I do want to mention that we have a 3-part masterclass. If you just put in your email, we send it to you right away. It's absolutely free. It's filled with a lot of value, and you're going to learn a lot about programming, so you can go from zero to knowing how to become a 6-figure developer or a freelancer. It lays out the path for you. So please put in your email for that. It's going to be in the description below as well, or you can just go to cleverprogrammer.com and sign up for free. With that said, let's jump right into this podcast. So you guys probably know Aaron.
What's up?
We got Frankie in the house.
Yo.
And we got Nas.
Hello. How's it going, everybody?
Nas Dumansky, not Dumansky.
Dumansky.
Yeah, so Nas is a special guest here from Detroit, Michigan. He's a developer. He's a Django developer. He's a badass freelancer. And so we're going to be learning a lot of things, and we're just going to be kicking back, relaxing, and having a lot of fun. So welcome.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. I appreciate it. This is awesome.
A young cat, too. He's 24, huh?
What's up?
Successful freelancer at 24, huh?
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
What a baby.
Yeah.
Still learning a lot, so.
So, Nas, talk to me how you got into freelancing a little bit, just so people can get a little bit of context. Like, just talk about how you got into freelancing, kind of what you've accomplished so far with it, and just a little bit of a recap so people know.
Yeah, so I've been a developer for about 7 years now, right? So started back in high school, and I kind of worked at startups, worked at corporations, and for the past 2 years, I worked at a startup called kind of service.com, and and 7 months ago, I decided to quit. I decided to quit because I wanted to try something else. I wanted to try something different, and I wasn't really excited about where I was going. So, and all of a sudden, I was like, you know what? This is something I need to try. This is something I need to do. And so I just decided to quit, and there we go. Here we are right now. For the past 7 months, it has been an interesting journey. Had to learn a lot of things, and it was definitely difficult, and it still really is difficult. But it's amazing to have the freedom that you get from something like this,
right? And
to learn so much, because now not only are you a developer, but you are kind of a business person, right? You're a sales guy. You're a manager, right? You're thinking about so many different things, and in itself, that is the interesting part too.
Right. Yeah, you got to do a little bit of everything, and especially when you're doing, because you said you started working in startups.
Yeah.
So you kind of got to do a little bit of everything in a startup. You're wearing lots of different hats. I mean, just like ask these guys, Frankie and Aaron. I mean, how many hats do you guys have to wear working in a startup?
He wears a lot. Yeah, I wear a lot of hats. 24/7, guys.
Yeah, he's
Start with them too.
Yeah,
but
on
the real though, you get to touch a lot of different topics. Really, like I started off as a video editor and stuff. Now we do a bunch of affiliate marketing things, and we all kind of get to know what each other is doing. So you kind of jump into other fields and stuff, and it's cool because you kind of get to know what else you're made of. Not just like what I see in Nas is like this guy's like super into development, but I also see him I see a lot of developers, and a lot of times these guys, I don't want to generalize, but a lot of times developers are a little bit more low energy, as to say, and they have a little bit of trouble expressing themselves. And I see Nas talking about something like SEO, which is not even like completely related to development or at all, but he's just fucking passionate. Can I swear here? Yeah. Passionate and stuff, and it's contagious,
It's good.
And it's
you can't fucking swear on this podcast.
Oh, shit. Yeah, but those qualities I feel are great for like freelancing and stuff, and those qualities are also great for small companies.
Yeah, I think, communication, I think one of the things you mentioned is communication. Being able to communicate properly is one of the biggest qualities in itself, in a developer, or heck, in anybody else, right? Especially as a developer, communication quality, being able to communicate between the developers, the business people, right?
Correct.
That is a very big quality that a lot is underrated.
Right.
But with it, you can go very far.
So far, right? Like, communication is very important.
Yeah.
Talk to me about communication.
Well, I probably have the worst communication.
Yeah, communicate about it, dude.
Yeah.
Communicate about communication. I mean, it's important, yeah, to be on a team like that. This is actually the first real, like, legit team I've been on, besides, like, you know, soccer teams and stupid school projects that don't really count. Like, I never actually had that. You gotta communicate and blah, blah, blah with everybody. But even with, like, communicating with, like, other people. Like, you asked how many hats we all wear. I think we all wear every hat, like, at some point.
Yeah.
We're all learning everything.
Yeah.
Some of us are better than others, but... yeah, communication is so important. Like, that's why I got on the team in the first place. How I found you guys, just communication, and
Right.
it's important.
Yeah, like when it comes to, for example, for developers to land a job, you have to communicate. You got to reach out. That's one communication.
Yeah.
Then you got to be able to actually land the contract and then keep the client. That requires communication. And most people, either they can't get a client, lack of communication in that place, and then they can't keep a client a lot of the times. And most of the times that happens because they've either lost the trust or didn't follow up or whatever the case may be, you know. And also, this is how deals happen. We were watching this crazy ass show recently, Men Who Built America.
Oh my
right?
God, so good.
Fucking awesome show.
Amazing.
It's such an amazing show. And in this show, they're talking about Vanderbilt and Rockefeller, who built, you know, according to today, he would be worth what, $225 billion at the time. This guy communicated with Vanderbilt, and he wasn't scared, and he could withstand the pressure, and he was in that moment, and he made the deal. This happens a lot of times with developers where they're afraid to negotiate for what they want.
Yeah.
They are afraid to withstand the pressure. They could be working for a company for like 10, 20 years, but they're pretty afraid to go up to their boss and be like, hey, can I make like $10 more, man, per hour?
It's great thing you mentioned that, right? Because, you know, being able to kind of stand up for yourself and to communicate that. So, you know, I've worked with different people, and there's a difference between, you can have a developer who is just as good as another developer, right? But if that one developer is able to go out there and is not afraid to kind of put himself out there and, you know, go to the CEO and ask for more money, for example, right? He will actually be able to go much further than someone who's just kind of scared and is still at the same level, like, you know, still the same level knowledge-wise and experience-wise. Right. The guy who was able to ask and to demand will be able to go much further.
Much further.
Yeah.
Right. Okay, with that, let's get into the languages. Okay, so let's start with this. So this was a lot of good stuff that we're talking about. We'll continue to talk about this type of fascinating stuff, but let's give people what they really came for. All right, so top 5 worst programming languages. Number 5.
Drum roll.
Which one is it?
You said we were starting with Lua, right?
That's pretty good.
All right,
Yeah.
let's start with it. I don't even know what it is.
All right, so
I don't know either.
It's a scripting
honestly.
language, huh?
I just heard it was bad.
yeah, it's a bad language, man. It's a high-level programming language,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Lua is a powerful and fast programming language that is easy to learn and use and to embed in your application. All right, good marketing.
Yeah.
Designed in 1993 as a language for extending software applications to meet demand of customization at the time. Oh, they had customizations at the time?
That's possible.
Dang. Focus on improving speed and probability and extensibility.
The only time I've actually heard about Lua is the only experience I've had with it is running a video game server. I don't know if people know this game, but it's a really popular game in Europe. It's called Tibia. It's a MMORPG. And these guys it's like a 2D universe or world or whatever. And it's funny because, I mean, just graphically, it's not that hard to recreate the game or whatever. But the way that you would change like the values of like items, like let's say armor is 15 or 14 or whatever. Right. And I hope I'm not like geeking out too much, but like you can.
Not everybody who's a programmer plays video games.
Yeah, exactly. So you would go into the Lua files, and I would actually change the scripts on just Notepad. I would open them up on Notepad and change the scripts there. change the values from like armor 15 to 17, and then it would change that inside the game.
You fucking cheater.
Yeah, it was
You
my universe.
cheater.
It was my server, so people would play under my rules. So I would choose what type of
Oh, that's
universe.
awesome.
Yeah, and that's how I actually got to know Lua. I didn't even know it was a type of a language. I thought it was a file extension.
Oh, by the way, guys, everybody's a developer here.
Yeah.
But go ahead.
But yeah, that's pretty much what I know about it. And honestly, I knew nothing about code. I didn't even know it was coding. But it's actually pretty easy for beginners to get to read Lua and kind of understand it,
Yeah.
Because
So
I was like 14 at the time.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
So you're saying you had your own servers? Is that what you're using for?
Yeah, I had my own video game server
Nice.
running on. It was it's called server list whatever, and people would like just from all over the world would go into the server, and the peak people that I had, the most people that I had at one specific time was like 90 people live on the server.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's amazing. No wonder it's created for extensibility.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Lua,
speed.
you know, like Don't Starve Together, this game that I absolutely love on Steam. Play it like crazy, or used to play it like crazy. That I think is also built in Lua. But even with that said, it has a very like it's dropping down because now there are other programming languages that people are using. Like for example, people are using Unity game engine, and that's what is that? C++, C sharp, C sharp.
C sharp,
I don't know.
yeah.
It's one of those. But that's what people are using, and they're not using Lua that much anymore. So that's been pretty much on the decline.
Yeah.
Can we look up on Google Trends what it's saying about Lua? Let's take a look on that.
And so while you're doing that, I'm actually looking at the syntax, and it's really interesting because it literally looks like Python.
Does it?
It's got you got your print hello world, with the parentheses. Looks like actually Python 3, so they thought ahead of the curve. Python 3 just got the whole print parentheses hello world, But yeah, and it's got functions and for variable you say you have something like local x equals 1. You got your loops. Dang, this is awesome.
Yeah, they got quite
Wait,
a bit.
so
of
why
stuff.
does this suck?
So if you actually, if you go to like trends.google.com, right, and you just, if you go there and you can look at it and the growth of Python, I mean, obviously that's much more because that's the #1 language, especially right now too. But when you look at Lua, it had this little jump right around 2009. It had a little spike.
Mm-hmm.
But then after that, it just started declining like crazy.
I kid you
died
not,
off.
that's the time where I was playing with the server. That's
Seriously?
funny. I was 8th, 9th grade. Yeah. For
Damn.
me.
So all that
2008,
Lua
2009.
usage was from you?
You know.
Mexicans.
Yeah, there it is. There it is. There you go. So
Whoa.
you can look at the trend line there.
Right
And then
there?
if you click on the compare where it's like the plus sign compare right next to Lua, yeah, and you can type in Python there, and then it'll allow you to see Lua compared with the Python, and that will give you a certain.
Interestingly enough, I'm looking at the subregion, right? You've got Lua being used. Guess what is the #1 region it's being used in?
Oregon.
Lua. Well,
Oh.
Hawaii.
Here's okay,
Wow.
but now you really see that Lua, it maybe had like tiny little spike at some points, but it's pretty much been very low interest throughout, like all the way through.
Yeah, I don't think it's being used much.
Ever.
Right. So they said there's a huge, much more demand, many more developers that know it than the demand for the jobs. So that's why I would put this in top 5 worst programming languages, because I think it's it's not that great. So like probably avoid it if you can.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you want a script, just use Python.
That's right.
But
Okay.
I'm still that still amazes me that it looks pretty good in terms of syntax wise. That's still the amazing part to me, honestly.
It looks good syntax wise.
Well, like being developed in 1993.
is it functional or is it?
I don't think this is functional because
It's not a function programming language.
no, because you got your while, you got your loops, you got your
Okay, so Lua, it's a lightweight, high-level, multi-paradigm programming
Yeah.
language, and is designed for embedded use in applications.
I'm curious what kind of applications now.
Okay, what type?
video games, right?
Oh yeah, there we go. That's another one.
Yeah,
Yeah,
what
video
kind of
games.
stuff can you build with Lua? Let's take a look at that.
Oh, yo, you know Roblox that we saw at VidCon? That those people are talking about that Roblox game
Yeah.
that's teaching people how to code. That's based on Lua.
Are you serious?
Yeah,
Damn.
I'm pretty sure.
Holy moly! Hold on. So
Roblox.
I'm looking right now at things that use Lua. So video games is one. Other uses. You got Adobe Photoshop Lightroom,
Ooh.
Apache HTTP server.
Damn.
Whoa.
So yeah, I'm looking at on Wikipedia. I mean,
Right,
this is
me too.
Wikipedia, so we
Yeah.
have to be very careful about
Yeah,
here. You know,
Adobe
here.
yeah. They're a Spike database. That's right. Oh yeah, it's popping up. That's awesome. It's
Yeah.
just so awesome to have a TV, dude.
We've got
Uh,
Photoshop. That's surprising.
Right.
Cheat
I
engine.
don't know what the
Cisco
yeah, I was like, whoa, what's this? Yo, CryEngine.
CryEngine. Yeah,
Okay, let's see what else we got.
that's another one.
Conky.
Yeah.
Linux system monitoring that.
Yeah, I don't know what a lot of this.
Damn small Linux.
You know, Redis database.
Dolphin computer access.
No, you know Redis, like Redis database.
Redis. Yeah.
Redis is an open source database in which Lua can be used. Oh, okay, can be used in there.
Interesting. Interesting.
Okay, so, anyways, if you can avoid it, unless there's a very specific use case that you're learning it for and a job you're trying to apply for, like you're trying to work for some, I don't know, Adobe
Photoshop.
Adobe Photoshop.
It's very niche and nuanced, so like
Yeah.
don't put effort into it unless it's very clear that you're gonna get a return.
Right.
Yeah, I don't think it's using much anymore. Honestly, there's much
Right.
better programming languages.
Okay, let's move to top
Yeah.
4 worst
Yeah.
horrible programming languages. What do we got for top 4?
And you know what? I want to do a thing. Let's define what do you mean by worst.
By worst, okay, so that's a great thing. So when we're saying worst, we gave it a lot of thought when we're thinking, should we just put like really garbage esoteric programming languages? And while we still plan to do that, we wanted to put some programming languages that are just facing a sharp decline. That way people can still resonate with it, so if you're watching this video, we want the people to go, okay, like I know about Lua, or I know about this. Of course there's like worse programming languages than Lua, like way worse, that nobody is actually using. But I feel like at certain times you get so esoteric that it's not that fun anymore, So so it's a mixture of programming languages either declining, and then few we're gonna kind of just throw out here for entertainment, so people can be
Yeah.
something crazy.
Yeah. Because there's some really crazy ones out there.
Yeah, but that's what I mean by worst. So that's what I mean.
Gotcha.
What would you say?
In terms of
Is that fine?
Yeah. That's perfect. That's
Okay.
perfect.
So number 4 worst programming language, Erlang.
Interesting.
Dun.
Dum.
What do you got, Aaron, on Erlang?
I don't know. I'm reading Wikipedia right now. Let me see.
It is a general purpose programming language
Mm-hmm.
and running environment. Oh, that's a great explanation.
Okay, so this is a concurrent functional programming language. Right off the bat, one thing that kind of know is like probably Go is going to be more popular, right? Because Go is a concurrent language, and I believe Go is it also functional?
I don't believe so.
Go is not functional?
There's too many dang languages.
Yeah, too many. But like Erlang is the main one we're looking at.
I'd be surprised if Go is not functional.
Find any dirt.
Statically typed.
Yeah, it is functional.
Find any
It's
dirt.
functional?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so you have Go. So if Go is functional, right, and if Go is general purpose, and if Go is concurrent, and it's super popular, then this is probably gonna die off even more. But let's look at like what kind of led to its decline.
Do you know,
Wow.
like Ericsson? Is that like the company Ericsson? Like Sony Ericsson?
Ooh, man, there's like a bunch of stuff that's pretty.
Yeah, it is. It
Really
actually is the
bad.
company Ericsson.
All right here.
Yeah.
What do you mean?
Like Sony Ericsson.
The one who developed it?
Yeah.
Interesting.
Okay. So few reason why Erlang is really bad, right? According to, I'm reading a blog post by codementor.io, and one of the reasons why they say it's really bad. This is a really nice graphic actually. Is it possible we could pull that one up? I think you would just type in codementor.io and then worst languages to learn, and this brings up something pretty interesting.
Mm-hmm.
So they go, they talk about the worst programming language to learn in 2018, but I think this applies for 2019 and most likely for 2022. And they split it between community engagement, job market, and growth and trends. And their community engagement is for Erlang is pretty bad, like pretty low. Their job market for Erlang is actually very low as well. So there are not a lot of job opportunities that exist. So when it comes to like bad programming languages that you want to avoid, you probably want to avoid languages that have low demand. You know, people paying less. And then the growth and trend of Erlang is also dying too. But what are your guys' thoughts on it?
So I'm looking right now. I looked at what companies used Erlang, right? And I'm gonna name a few. So we've got I'm gonna name a few that are pretty much known. Facebook, Facebook Chat Backend.
It still uses it.
Looks like it.
Okay.
Either uses it or used it.
I thought they used
PHP.
PHP, man.
I don't know. I mean, I'm looking directly on Erlang.org, so you know their actual website, and looks like so it's Facebook backend.
Mm-hmm.
They've also got WhatsApp messaging for smartphones. They've got the WhatsApp app as well. They've got a few ones that
WhatsApp is written in Erlang.
according to them, which is weird.
Whoa.
Probably features of it. Probably
Yeah.
parts of it.
Yeah.
Plot twist.
Holy moly.
Well, WhatsApp.
Top 5 best programming languages.
Well, the WhatsApp.
Because the thing is, it's used for in the telecommunication systems, right? And and all these programs,
True.
Facebook and WhatsApp, they're all
Whoa.
telecommunication.
It's almost
Whoa.
completely implemented in Erlang.
Look at that! Wow.
As it was suitable for accommodating huge communication system with high sustainability. Is a famous open source Jabber server written in Erlang.
Server
Oh
systems that do the back-end
my
message routing are done in Erlang.
God.
Wow.
If you didn't know that,
Dude, I am pretty blown away.
so maybe it's not the worst.
who picked?
Hey, can you edit it out? Like top 4 programming languages.
Erlang, Lua.
Just remove the worst part out.
Top 5 worst that are actually the best.
Okay, so
Yeah. So look. So,
so yeah, there you go. It's awful. Don't fucking learn this. Next.
So if you want to get a job at WhatsApp, learn Erlang.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, how many devs do they need for an app like that? I mean, actually, usually the teams are fairly small, right?
Yeah.
I mean, like WhatsApp or Facebook?
Well, I mean, Facebook you have a lot, but like, is WhatsApp under Facebook? It's not. Right?
Well, no. Facebook bought WhatsApp.
Did they?
Yeah.
Didn't know that.
Yeah.
What's funny is one of the workers from Facebook actually founded WhatsApp. So
Yeah.
it's funny that like Facebook uses Erlang and then this guy in WhatsApp uses Erlang too. So
Yeah,
it's
and he's
like,
the guy who actually found WhatsApp. I think he's actually Ukrainian too.
Oh, he actually didn't work for Facebook. He wasn't. He actually didn't pass the interview for Facebook.
Yeah. I remember that.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's true. That is true. Oh my gosh. And then they how much they end up buying WhatsApp for? Was it $60 billion? I forgot.
60 billion.
No. Maybe that's a
I
bit too
think
much.
it's 6 billion, right? Or-
6 billion.
I don't know. Check it out.
Let's see.
16.
Right there.
Yeah. Well, the WhatsApp founders, they set the price at 16 billion,
Mm-hmm.
but
Paid right there.
they paid 21.
Holy
Okay.
yeah.
Man.
So here are a few hypotheses for why this is pretty fascinating. This is some articles, some post somebody made on Y Combinator, like Hacker News, and it's like, okay, why isn't it popular? And the guy says, they go, people say Erlang is being used for WhatsApp, and then people ask the question right after that. They go, why isn't it popular anymore? That's kind of exactly what we're thinking right now. It's like, why isn't it popular anymore? Well, they say that don't look at the language itself to get insight into why it's not popular. Look into the community for why it's not popular.
Right.
Makes sense.
That's one big reason. And then they gave like multiple other reasons. Like, for example, they don't have a package manager. There are no open source packages. There's no community. Like, everything has an open source package. Dude, GitHub is like a gold mine for JavaScript frameworks or whatever, right? They don't have open source packages. They have no community site. There
that
are
sounds terrible.
no for loops.
Wait, what?
What?
No.
List
my
for,
God.
yeah, list for strings. Variables don't vary. There are no docs or too many docs that are incorrect. There are not enough teaching materials.
So is this just a regular language, like a spoken language? Like, what is this?
No documentation?
Emacs is IDE, but I don't think that's really the reason.
That's crazy, though. Like, I mean, if you don't have documentation, well, no, I mean, the big part is you're right. If you don't have a community around it, then that's why it's a dying, that's a very big part of a dying language. The community is what makes anything really popular. That's why Python is so big.
Yeah, because I mean, like, if it's a programming language, then it can obviously create. You can obviously create something with it. So like, it's not because it's like just non-functional, but
Right.
like
Yeah.
if it's just
And,
hard to use.
And yeah, so exactly. So this is very fascinating. I think we can learn a lot from just this. I think it's just really interesting because it's a lot about adoption of a language too. It's not just how great it is or how great the features are. It's a lot about the adoption because functionality wise it's incredible. But some other things that people are hypothesizing are like the syntax is weird. Not only in a paradigm way, but the pattern matching to most other programming languages, it doesn't match the pattern of how you write most other programming languages.
Yeah,
which makes
it looks whack. The syntax looks really weird.
Yeah,
Like
Yeah, isn't there?
I can't even decipher it. Like, what the heck is this? Wait, this is hot. Hot code loading. Oh,
You good?
oh, dang.
Thanks.
Yeah, I
So
mean,
the syntax. Go ahead.
no, go ahead. You go ahead. You're first.
So the syntax is really odd, and it makes it so people can't just jump in. The barrier of entry is very, very high.
Yeah, even for us, I'm looking at it, I'm like, what the?
Can I see some?
Yo, check this out.
What
does that do, Kazi?
I mean, looks.
It's like it receives a signal or
Yeah,
something.
you could just type in like Erlang syntax or something on and then go to images and maybe something will come up.
And I feel like it's a very low level.
It's low level?
programming language.
Okay, so yeah, it's also a little bit low level, I guess. But I think the adaptability is the main thing.
Yeah. I'm surprised though. For WhatsApp using it? Holy
Yeah,
moly,
like look at
dude.
look at some of the syntax, right?
It's weird. It's like
Update
halfway.
word count.
Wait, well,
I mean,
It's
it
not terrible.
Yeah, it looks
Yeah.
high level. To
It's
me.
like halfway between like Java bytecode or like assembly and a high level. It's like halfway between because there's weird jump statements and stuff, but
Yeah.
you can still do
it
high
has
level
jump
stuff.
statements.
Well, I mean, like it says like to go back to the top of a loop, you can like loop back up within.
let's
Like,
let's guess.
I don't know.
Let's guess what's going on in there. Well, I mean, I guess just by looking at the function name, we'll know.
I know what's going on. They are they're updating word count.
In the case of
I don't know,
of,
dude.
Look, you got a table.
Is that like an empty array? Like line 29?
And
Like,
looking up a word on
I'm
the
getting-
table.
I don't know what the arrow is. Like,
So
what?
Okay, who is up for learning this language for 24 hours and then we make a video on it?
dude, that sounds
I-
interesting.
Maybe.
We make a
If
WhatsApp
enough
clone.
people vote on that idea, then we'll do it.
Yeah.
We should actually choose all 5. Like, okay, choose one of the 5 and we'll do that.
Yeah,
one.
you choose
Yeah.
one of the worst
Yeah.
5, and then the one that gets the most upvotes.
Yeah, we'll spend 24 hours learning it.
It has to be above like 20 or 30 upvotes.
And
it
we'll
can't
make
just be
we'll make
like-
the next Facebook, or the WhatsApp. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
Out of Whitespace.
So, as you unconvincingly saw, it's a bad language. Don't learn it. Unless you want to work for horribly awesome companies like WhatsApp.
Yeah.
No, so
Which is actually Facebook.
again, the main thing is the adaptability of it is low, which makes it so the future and the trend of it is not as high. So of course there's some specialized companies you could work for, WhatsApp, and probably
Yeah.
some others, but if you want to look at the longevity of it, it's not going to be that high. And because it's here's why you'd rather learn Lua over this, is because Lua is still probably like most other languages. So when you learn it, you can still pick up lots of other languages. This, I feel like, will leave you in a place where it doesn't really apply to many other things.
Yeah, only learn this like if you're doing something very specific. Like, don't start with this. This is
Correct.
not something to start
Yeah,
with.
because for example, if you pick up JavaScript as your first programming language, or Python, or Java, well, you could still pick up all the other languages pretty easily. But if you pick up like machine code as your first language, that's not gonna really translate to any other language.
Yeah, but you know what? The interesting part is, like, a lot of these languages, they're really not used a lot. They actually pay a lot of money, like in terms of work, like work-wise, because not a lot of people. There may be little demand for them, right? But there's also very little supply. I had back in college, I had a friend of mine, and he told me about how, for example, I think Ford or GM, they're looking for COBOL,
Right,
yeah,
right.
like COBOL engineers, and they were ready to pay like 200K or something just for a COBOL engineer,
Right.
and that's because there aren't a lot of them.
Good point.
That doesn't say that doesn't
Right.
I'm not saying like go. You need to learn it. This is just an interesting perspective.
Right. So it's kind of like how clothes, they are in fashion, then they go out of fashion, and then they're so old that they come back in fashion again.
Yeah.
I mean, if you want to play that gamble, that's fine. But I feel like most of the time it's like a gamble. So yeah, I imagine there's gonna be some edge case people who will benefit off of it, but I feel like majority of the people probably not benefit out of it.
I'm looking at Monster. 77 jobs found from Erlang.
All right, let's move to the third.
This.
Which one should we go with? Should we go with Trumpscript?
Yeah, let's just stick to the order that we picked earlier. Trumpscript.
All right, sweet. Let's go with number top third words programming language, Trumpscript. All right. So this language, how do you have to end the script? You have to end it with like "Make America Great Again," right? That's how you officially end.
Make I'm looking at the description. Make Python great
Yeah,
again.
it says "Make Python Great Again." I think that's how you end every.
That's interesting.
Yeah, it's written in Python,
Yeah.
which is awesome.
Wait, it's literally just Python, right? You just have to end the script with that. I'm trying to find something on it.
Oh, that's so interesting.
Is it just literally Python? Yeah, there we go. Oh, I think let's do the second. I think let's go with the Verge one. The second one. No, not that. I think there's another one by The Verge. There. Let's click on that. The Donald Trump programming language is not for dummies or losers. Love the headline.
Make
Oh,
coding
that's
great
interesting.
again.
Make coding.
Nice tagline.
Okay, so there's a part where it goes like, for example, if you use a word that's been banned, the error message will read. We'll probably have to scroll down a little bit. There, yeah, it's like that, like whole section with the error message will read, Trump doesn't want to hear it.
The error message.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
Or if you use a word that's not common, it will say, we have a country where to assimilate. You have to speak English.
Oh, God.
And then there's some more features of Trumpscript. So, for example, no floating point numbers, only integers.
Can you scroll
Because
down?
America,
Thank you. A little bit.
yeah. So the idea behind not having any floating numbers and only integers is because America never does anything halfway. All numbers must be strictly greater than 1 million. The small stuff is inconsequential to us. And there are no import statements allowed.
How do you feel about that, Frankie?
Oh man, I
Go back
gotta
to
get used to
From
this.
Calexico, right?
Hell yeah.
All code has to be homegrown and American made. And it's in its raw form, Trumpscript is not compatible with Windows because Trump isn't the type of guy to believe in PC.
Political correctness.
Yeah.
And the language is completely case insensitive. God.
Case insensitive. Yeah.
You
So
can use all 7 cases.
yeah. So if you, sorry, just one more time. If we scroll just a little bit down, you'll have the first working Trumpscript. So just a
Yeah,
little
just
bit
keep
there.
right there, that
there.
block right there of code.
Yeah.
Boom.
So say roses are red. Say violets are blue. If lies, say if I can beat Hillary. Say so can you.
Else.
What?
And then you gotta end it with America's great. So this is Trump.txt. Wow, this guy even wrote this for us on GitHub.
Wow.
Now I'm actually gonna go to their.
Trump probably paid to develop this language, you know?
You know, when it came out, I was gonna make a video on it right when it came out
When did it come out, by the way? Do you know?
a few years ago.
Probably when he was running for president. That's probably around.
Yeah, it looks like
has
yeah.
to be around then.
Yeah,
Has to
4
be
years
around then,
ago.
It
when he was running.
It says features error messages are mostly quotes directly taken from Trump himself.
Dude, listen to this. It
Only the most.
Go ahead.
I was gonna say only the most popular English words, Trump's favorite words, and current politician names can be used as variable names.
The other one is like it says if the running computer is from China, Trumpscript will not compile.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
Dude, somebody went really far with this
Yeah.
shit.
Like it probably checks for IP addresses, you know?
Instead of true and false, we have the keywords fact and lie.
God.
Won't run in root mode because America doesn't need your help being great. Trump is all we need. Oh my gosh.
Is the only key value pair Trump and Putin? Is that the only one?
Wow. That is very interesting. I'm curious like why people like what inspires people to come up with this kind of stuff? You know?
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, it's Trump. So somebody
So,
was probably emotionally heated.
By constructing a wall, aka by providing the wall flag. So in terminal, I think you can pass a flag when you're writing a command in a command line. You can pass a wall flag. If you do that, it says Trumpscript will refuse to run on machines with Mexican locales.
How does that feel, Frankie?
So if,
Oh gosh.
Man, the Mexican developers are probably
so
against
if you run like Python example.py and then but before you hit enter, you do hyphen and you pass the wall flag.
Mm-hmm.
It will if it's a Mexican machine, it will
If it's Mexican, what?
This is terrible.
Yeah, so what is the
Um,
point of this language? Is it like, can you actually build stuff with it,
You
or is
can-
it just to...
I'm sure you can.
Yeah.
That's insane.
We should try it
as
out.
long as you're not on a Windows and you're not
Mexico.
probably in Mexico.
Or China.
Or China. Yeah.
That'll be tough. It'll be tough.
All right, well, we should move on to the next one. I think we're coming up in an hour soon. I'm not sure. Well, how long are we at?
10 minutes.
Okay.
Okay,
All
let's
right.
keep
We'll
going.
probably gotta move fast with the
Yeah.
next one. And it's easy to type with small hands. That's another feature of this.
Oh, I just saw that too.
Okay, so language. Let's move on to number 2 worst programming language. Whitespace. All right. So what's crazy about this Whitespace programming language? If we pull up Whitespace syntax, I'll pull it up too. Whitespace syntax.
Sounds like a horror movie.
It's made up of just white space. There's nothing. So like it's showing you all that color, but that just means that they're highlighting it. How it actually looks like is just blank. There's
What?
no letters, there's no
No.
words, there's nothing. It's nothing.
Yeah, it's just tabs and spaces, right?
Yeah, the entire language.
Tabs and
So
spaces.
if you scroll down a little bit, scroll down more. You're gonna see a document that has nothing on it. Scroll probably. Yeah, that's actually what the language looks
So
like.
you literally have to highlight what you wrote to see what you wrote?
Correct.
Wow. That's
But even then, you can't really see.
Yeah, 'cause,
the
like-
borders.
Right.
So wait, so do you have to count like how much white space? Like
Yeah, white space, tabs, and new lines is how you write code in it.
not trying to be disrespectful or anything, but would this work with like blind people or something? Because it's like
I thought you were gonna say black people. That would be disrespectful.
That would be-
Yeah, of course it would work with blind people. Blind people would work better than
Yeah, right.
us.
With Whitespace, huh?
Because
you're clicking a tab.
to them it's no different than Python or something.
Mm.
They're already using
True.
Braille.
That
You know,
is
so
interesting.
to them they're already feeling it.
Any feedback we can get on this? Anybody that's blind that has a little bit of a reference experience with Whitespace?
Talk about a head scratcher, man. Like talk about like you know how much. Oh my gosh, trying to write something like this,
Dude,
Trying
this
to-
is
you're
really
gonna be
cool.
frustrated the
what
whole
would
time.
be really hard is if you get a git diff or have to do a git merge with somebody's code and they have to update it. That would be a nightmare.
Jeez.
Because when they're showing the git diff, they also highlight the white spaces and stuff. So it's like, oh man, this guy just added all this new code, like to get it approved.
Yeah.
Like, when you push it, it's like, oh man.
It sounds like a nightmare. But one cool thing that I just read on the Wikipedia page is it's pretty much like the opposite of all other programming languages because you know how most programming languages it ignores all the white space.
Correct.
This one ignores any non-white space.
Yeah.
Therefore, you can actually write programs in a normal programming language,
Oh,
and it can be its
wow.
white space embedded in Python.
So this would
using
be
the white
this would be
spaces.
great for hackers because
Yeah,
what they can do
because
is they can
It
write
can look like Python code.
non-malicious looking code in Python or
Yeah.
something. It's like print
You can
hello
write
world.
Trumpscript, but it's actually white
No,
space.
spaces. You write all the other crap.
Yeah, using so it only the compiler only
But
interprets
my
the white
computer would
space.
would need to know how to run white space, right? OS X
Yeah.
would need to know how to run white
Maybe
space.
maybe it's like
Yeah.
a programming language for like for like the secret code or something.
Right.
Maybe it's like a secret
It's like
code
the
programming
equivalent of
language.
like Morse code as a programming language.
Yeah. What if like the CIA uses it or something? You know.
I doubt it. They're probably not smart enough to use it. Okay, probably because we're low on time, let's move on to the number one worst programming language on the planet. This will hurt your brain, make you cry, make you weep. It's called. What is it called?
Da, 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 da. Brainfuck. Literally.
Yep.
That is BRAINFUCK.
That's correct.
Brainfuck, one word.
Brainfuck programming language.
I think the intention of the programming language is in the word.
Yeah. And if you could, if
you know.
Yep. And the idea of this programming language to be as esoteric, as complex, as complicated as possible. Yep. Brainfuck. Look at that. Code that was designed to hurt.
Yeah.
One of the most frustrating programming languages was built that way on purpose.
On
That's the whole
purpose.
idea.
On purpose.
Yeah. So it looks like really painful code. That's a great article. I think if you scroll down on that one, it shows like how some of the code looks too.
By Isolangers? Is this like a thing?
Okay, that's me.
And it was created in 1993. That was by a Swiss physics student named Urban Mueller.
I mean, it was an attempt to create a language with the smallest possible compiler. So it was actually like
It's obscure.
I was thinking making the code is hard for a human to write, but easy as possible for a computer, like most
Yeah.
efficient compiler.
But it's Turing complete,
Interesting.
so it can actually write real code and do real stuff.
Can we actually see some syntax? That'd be interesting.
Maybe this article does not have syntax.
Right
on
there.
it. I imagined it
Right
would.
there.
Oh,
Oh my
oh,
god.
so to write "Hello World," this is
That's
what
how you write hello
it would
world.
look like.
That is
So-
insane.
If somebody,
How do you
if
feel
it's
about
just
that, Naz?
listening to this, go ahead.
No, I was just asking, how do you feel about that, Naz?
That's
You look confused.
Imagine making your Python Django apps with that. So like if for anybody who's just listening, you would normally write print hello world, but in Brainfuck you would write like plus 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 bracket greater than like and period and like crazy stuff.
What? What is this?
Yeah. One of
So
the-
there's another programming language called orangutan words, and it's a spin. So Brainfuck is a spin-off of that language, and in that language, every character is just the word ooh 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 ooh. That's every single word is like that.
I'm curious how he
There's
came up with
another
that.
programming language called Chef, which is pretty awesome, and everything has to be written like a recipe.
Oh yeah.
Have you seen it?
Yeah. I think we went over that.
Yeah, everything has to be
last
written
month.
like a recipe, and then that's how you write like for loops too. Like put 2 tablespoons and then like repeat it.
Yeah. Everything's related to like cooking. It looks like a Gordon Ramsay kind of language.
Everything, yeah. But yeah, for this language, it's just designed to hurt your brain as much as possible. And I don't know if somebody's ever made programs with this. Like,
I mean,
So it's a very low level language
yeah.
where you're dealing with pointers a lot.
Yeah.
You adding your pointer, you're incrementing your pointer, decreasing your pointer.
Dude, just check this out, okay? Brainfuck is the ungodly creation of Urban Mueller, whose goal was apparently to create a Turing-complete language for which he could write the smallest compiler ever for the Amiga OS 2.0. Amiga.
Friend in Spanish.
Right. For the non-cultural people.
yeah, writing compilers sucks. You ever written a compiler?
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
have. You have.
Yeah. I
Yeah,
wrote.
it was terrible. It is so hard.
So there you guys have it. The top 5 worst programming languages to learn in 2020 and beyond. Probably. I mean, I don't know how far beyond. Maybe Brainfuck will become the number 1 most programming languages. But I am willing to say, on record, that it won't. It'll probably still be awful. And that's it. I hope you guys enjoyed the show. Learn more popular languages like Python or JavaScript or Java or something that's really relevant.
Let us know what programming language was the worst to you, so we can create something with it.
Yeah.
Give us your votes.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
that-
Vote
that's
on
a good
one out of
question.
5, and we'll
Yeah.
spend we'll spend 24 hours all learning that language and then develop something with
We'll
it.
go to his loft. He got a
yeah,
new
yeah, the
loft.
sick
We'll
ass
go there.
Airbnb.
Just let's not do Brainfuck. That I feel like that's gonna be a really hard one.
Yeah, let's not do that. Let's do something that'll be like entertaining for them to watch too.
Wall code.
Trump code. Trumpscript.
Trumpscript, yeah, that's better. All right, guys, thank you so much for watching and listening to this. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Like this video, hit that like button, leave a comment. We love your face. This is Kazi,
This is Nas.
This is Aaron.
This is Frankie.
and as always, we'll see you in the next video.